What is up, y'all? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back with
Gersh, what?
to answer your questions in another greater.
that was different.
That was different.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get those questions first. You might be asking yourself, why would I ask you guys questions? But you got nothing better to do. Next question comes from this question comes from Terminus Dragon. He asks, on the theory of the Emperor slowly turning into a god, due to like the Imperium's belief systems, would Sanguinius also be under the same effect, slowly manifesting as the Imperium has a day dedicated to his sacrifice, making him a god? Yeah, so basically, there are Imperial citizens that also pray to Sanguinius. So is he being mad? Is something happening to him in the warp where he's going to manifest as a god? I'm going to answer that with a straight no. And the reason for that is that I think the Imperium views him as a saint, or like as we would view a saint, where like you see a separation between the saint and God. Whereas in the Imperium, they see the separation between Sanguinius, still has his day and everything, but then there's the God Emperor. And without the God Emperor, there is no Sanguinius. Same thing with like, if there's no God, then no saints.
Right. Similar to how like we dedicate like a day to a person who did something very important. Mm-hmm. Where Sanguinius, he literally gave his life for the Emperor and for all humanity so that he can defeat Horus.
Yep. Now, check out 40 facts on the goddess Isha. I did that recently, and we talked about how Isha might have been an old one. And if that's true, then maybe the Eldar and all the other psychically powerful warrior races that were created by Isha began to worship her. And even after her death, she manifested in the warp as a god of order. And then thus becoming like the pantheon of the Eldars and stuff like that. And that might be happening to the Emperor. Now, if you could create life, or you can create an entity inside the warp through belief, maybe by the Imperium worshipping Sanguinius and having a day dedicated to him, it might slowly be regenerating his body, and Sanguinius's death might mean that he is resurrected. You're not taking away the death, you're resurrecting the Primarch because of that belief of like worshiping him and seeing him as a saint. I could see the GW doing that.
Yeah, that's better than outright saying, nah, he wasn't dead, he's in stasis.
Yeah, because it adds fluff to the theory, or it adds fluff to prayer, worship, all that kind of stuff, mm-hmm. And it also validates the theory that the Emperor is becoming a chaos god of order. Yeah, which would be cool. So if GW does it that way, then hey.
Right. Yeah. It just popped into my head, but I just wish GW would come out with more lore, something pertaining to perpetuals. Yeah. Like, how do they come to be? How does that work? Like, how, what, where, when, why?
Yeah.
Whom?
Next question comes from Bruce Corey. What motto in Warhammer history 40 and fantasy is the rarest or most expensive? So, that's a good question. What is the rarest and most expensive model that you have purchased? Well, I mean, I'm an orc player, and I think the hardest model to actually come across is
Macoptas?
No, I have a ton of Defcoptas. The one that I couldn't find were the Storm Boys, but the old Storm Boys, the ones that used to have the metal rockets. So you had a regular orc boy, and then they had the metal like addition to it, and that box set right now goes pretty expensive on eBay. GW doesn't produce it anymore, and the reason that it's so expensive is because The box comes with like 16 models.
Oh, wow.
And if you see today's Storm Boys, a box of 5 Storm Boys is probably around like $25 to $30, but that's only with 5. And back then, 16 would get you, or the same price would get you 16 boys. So that's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
What about you?
I'm not too sure.
What's the most expensive model you've purchased?
Probably. Well, no, it is single model that's been the most expensive has been Alfarius, simply because it's a Forge World model and it's a Primarch model.
Yeah.
So more detail goes into it. You are getting it from overseas. So the next question is from Rasika Wickramasinghe. Hopefully I said that right. Question is, who is the next Trader Primarch? Man, I can't speak. Who is the next Trader Primarch that can come back similar to what Magnus did? So it could be literally any Demon Primarch, because they're all active. Like I know Fulgrim was fighting the Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum. Lorgar, I think he's actually come out of his meditation already on his tower. Angron, he's out there doing mischievous things, but I really want it to be Fulgrim. Just because I want to see a model that's like different than all the other models we've had. So far, everybody's been humanoid with wings. Well, for the Chaos ones. And I feel like with Fulgrim, it's going to be like Serpentine with wings. But yeah, I just really want to see that model. Yeah. And I think we got a little taste of it from the Age of Sigmar stuff with the, I want to say it's called Marathi, or like the Dark Elves one.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be like that, just like bigger and more badass looking. Yeah.
I agree. Fulgrim would be better. Next question comes from Miguel Reyes. Who would win in a fist fight to the death? A Primaris Marine without armor, an Orc Knob, or an Ogryn with bone implants? With bone implants? I would give it to the Primaris.
Yeah.
Well...
No, I'd still give it to the Primaris.
Well, it depends on the Orc Knob, though. Because what if the Orc Knob's like one of the Orc Knobs from the Demon Killer's mob?
Oh, yeah, I'd still give it to the Primaris.
Those things are huge, though. They're like...
But he didn't specify which ones, so just some generic mob.
Okay, fine. If it's just a generic, yeah, then yeah, the Primaris.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it was like an orc from Demon Killer's mob, those things are like massive. King Kong size.
Yeah.
They're just massive, like cool orcs.
Mm-hmm. But you know, King Kong ain't got nothing on Primaris.
Maybe. What happened to the second King Kong movie? I thought it was supposed to come out like
the
now.
Second one?
Yeah, there's a second one.
I thought the next one's supposed to be King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh, that's the one. What's happening with that?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Anyways, next question comes from Mr. Mercury. Is an Ogryn a fair match to an Orc boy? Just a standard Ogryn against a standard Orc. How do you think the fight will go down? Yes, they're very good matches. I don't know. More likely than not, I would give it to the Ogryn.
Like if he gets his hands on it, on an Orc, yeah, the Orc would just get ripped apart.
I think the Ogryns are like gentle, or not gentle giants, but they're like, they could be portrayed as like gentle giants. So in like, let's say like GW created a movie and they had an Ogryn fight an Orc, I think it would be like triumphant, and like people would see the Ogryn as the underdog, like killing all these Orc boys, and then finally one bests him, but after killing like a dozen of them.
Right, and you're supposed to feel sorrow for him.
Yeah.
Like one of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan asks, what's the most painful weapon to die from in 40K?
Acid spit from, is it the...
The Space Marines have that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Space Marines. I was going to say something in the Tyranids, but yeah.
Oh, speaking of Tyranids, they got this gun that shoots like a living thing inside you, and it just barrels into you, and it like comes. Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, that's pretty nasty. Because I was gonna say the Phosphex bombs from back in 30K, which are basically like napalm that doesn't burn, that doesn't stop burning. So
it's gross. There's a species of alien that is just like covered in worms, and like if it touches you, then you get infected with these like maggot-like worms. That sounds pretty disgusting, and that's like horrific to die from, like being touched by one of these alien species. We have a 40 facts on them. I just can't remember their names. Gross though. Next question.
This is an interesting one by Monkey Lugs. Do you think Conrad Kurz will return, and will he be a loyalist?
Kurz eventually will return, and yes, he's going to be a loyalist.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're thinking of...
Corvus Corax?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of. Yeah, the Night Haunter.
Oh.
The guy with the visions, and supposedly the assassin killed him.
Oh, yeah, I hope he returns. He'd be cool. He would be a really cool demon Primarch.
Mm-hmm.
Just giant, like, vampire, but not like Dracula, like one of those vampires from, like, the Wings and from fantasy.
Yeah.
That would be badass.
You seen Castlevania?
No.
On Netflix?
No.
No? Okay.
The anime thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell me something about it?
No.
Okay. Next question comes from D406. Can orcs swim? Yep. They actually have
webbed feet.
No. They're like cotton candy. If they get in water, they just disintegrate. Spores just. But yeah, they actually have submersibles.
Got like submarine stuff.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes they like surface, they get out, they swim, they have a little bit of fun, then they go back in.
Just thinking of a wet orc sounds nasty.
Feral orcs can also like hide in swamps, so like you'll just see their heads just come up like
kind of like crocodiles.
Like crocodiles.
Or is it alligators?
Both.
Well, what is it? You'll see an alligator later, but you'll see a crocodile in a while.
Which means?
I don't know.
There's a picture on the internet of like alligators. It's like a transparent pool, and like the alligator's head is like that, and then the body goes down like this, and it's touching the ground with its 2 feet, so it's almost like standing in the water. And then I think crocodiles are like this. Yeah. I don't know why that comes into play, but orcs can swim. Next question.
Praxis 980. Could you two just switch places for once? No reason, just do it.
We did it once. It did not feel good. It was scary. The walls were shaking. The blinds in the window were like opening and closing and speaking to us as if Tzeentch was tempting us to stay in that position forever.
When I got off of this chair, my knees were weak, my arms were heavy.
Something spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
The next question comes from Charles Winfield. What you got?
Show me what you got.
What you got on my 40, homie? Please be specific.
That's the question of the day right there.
And with that, next question comes from James. A nice, wholesome name. How do Melta weapons work? I'm asking because I'm building a Salamander's army, and I understand that flamers are just rebranded flamethrowers. So how do Melta weapons work? Well, you shoot it, and then they melt the things, right?
It's weird because like some of them have said that they harness the power and the heat of a miniature sun. I'm not sure if that's Imperium weapons, but I think that's at least Tau weaponry.
And it's the same thing, right? It's
very similar.
Meltas.
Yeah. They're so strong they could reduce like armor to molten slag. That's a cool word. Slag.
Slag. We used to do, or we have on the channel older videos where we go in depth on the different weapons and stuff like that.
Did we cover Meltas?
We probably did at some point. But that's something that I might want to get back into. Just trying to figure out like the ins and out of an actual like las weapon. Comment down below if that would interest you guys. The reason that I haven't done it in the past is because I feel like the weapons aren't as entertaining as actual characters or actual armies. But comment down below if you think I should. I think I can. Next question.
This one is by Terminus Dragon. On the theory of the Emperor slowly turning into God.
I think that's the main.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
It's okay though, because Kyle Walker asks, should the faith of people on Terra not manifest in some way? Like if they keep the Psyker slaughter secret and the people see the Emperor's lives, or see the Emperor lives, should that make the Emperor live without the Psyker's energies? Should the faith of people on Terra not manifest in some way?
So he's asking if they stop sacrificing the Psykers to the Emperor, can he survive on humanity's faith alone?
Oh, no. Because of the Golden Throne. The Golden Throne is designed specifically to have sacrifice some type of source, energy source, and that is the sacrifice. See, it's here again. Damn it. The source of the psychic might. It's old one technology. The throne is, and it needs psychic sacrifice.
Right.
Worship is not strong enough.
Think of the Emperor as a car, and think of beliefs as water cleaning that car. The car still needs gas, which would be the sacrifice of the Psykers to run.
I like that. That's a good metaphor.
So it's like every so often you need to take your car to the car wash, but even more so, it needs to be refueled.
Yep, that's an excellent metaphor. Or simile. That's a metaphor, right?
Sure. I like the word simile better.
This is the last question, I think, by Squiggly Line. Could a blank become a space marine? Yes, there's an entire chapter of them. I feel like we answer this every week.
Is that legit though?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's not been retconned?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
There's an entire chapter of blanks, and I forget what they're called. I haven't found them. They're within our 40 Facts Space Marine Chapters playlist. I want to say they're a successor chapter of the Raven Guard. I'll check it out for you guys, and I'll redo the video for you guys as well. Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. We enjoy answering these questions. Don't forget we have a Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. And thank you.
Yeah. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we're out.
Oh, I did the